Okay, we got yet another small camcorder to add to the mix, and I figure we do a open the box review of it. It's actually been opened more than once because this is a floor model. We saw these going on sale and thought we'd give one a try. We thought about giving them a try when they were at the $150 range and got better reviews on the flip, so we went with the flip. But now that these are a lot cheaper, substantially cheaper, thought we'd give one a try. So we got it at one of the big box stores, and you can see they've got a 14-day return policy with the original receipt. If open, there's a 15% restocking fee if there's any missing components. So we don't plan on losing anything, so that shouldn't be too big a deal. What we're looking at, of course, is the Kodak Zi6, which is basically a handheld camcorder. This one is in HD. It's got some features we care about, some features we could care less about. We'll dig through them here. Now, unfortunately, this one is a open one, so it was a actual on-the-floor demo that they had at the big box store to demonstrate this model. We saw the good price on it. We looked around, couldn't find a better price anywhere, and we've got some stuff coming up that we could use the camera for. You know, we have the need of it, the camera, so we decided to go ahead and risk it. We've got good and bad reviews on these, and of course anytime you buy one that's been out there with everybody pawing on it for, you know, who knows how long, we figure there's a potential for it to have some trouble. However, some of the things I looked at was this sticker seems pretty good shape for being something that people would be pawing on and really, you know, touching. So I don't think it might have been, I don't think it had necessarily been out there very long. The doors all seem like they work well. It still works, of course. And like I say, we risked it. So we'll get into the camera here in a second. Nice thing about it is that it comes with AA rechargeable batteries and the charger. So, you know, kudos for giving us a charger. I just noticed now that it's a 4 battery charger, and it works with AA or AAA. So, real score there, I think. Like the idea of using some rechargeable batteries. Wow, it looks like we've got the batteries that were in it. And I don't know if we just won this. I think they just happen to have some energizers in it. So I guess we got a couple of free batteries, however long those last. But then here's our Kodak rechargeables. So that's nice. We'll be able to start reviewing how rechargeables work. So that came with it, and that's part of the package. We've got some cables, it looks like, to plug it into a TV probably. More of that. Got a little pouch or a little sack to keep it in, and then a little lanyard for it. So I guess that's the gear, the kit that would normally come with it, and we don't care about most of that for a couple of reasons. First reason being that on this one we've got an SD card, and that's the biggest feature I look for in a digital camera these days. The SD card allows us to store to the card and then take the card immediately to the computer without having to plug the camera into the computer, which is, in my opinion, never worthwhile. So, you know, it's just much faster to take it right from the card. So we've got a door for that, and again, it seems like it's in good shape. I'm sure plenty of people opened it trying to steal the card or see if it's in there or whatever, and it still closes well and seems to work just fine. We've got the battery door, which we just opened up and took a look at. And honestly, for something that gets changed out quite a bit on cameras, in my opinion, this is a fairly decent battery door. The reason I say that is it's got a metal hinge, which is better than plastic, of course. It's not super substantial, but for a camera it's fairly substantial. It comes in locks, and when you look, the nibs are fairly small, but for cameras these days, having 2, 3, 4 of them is really a plus. I mean, that's as many rails as a Glock has, so that's going to be a fairly strong door in my opinion. It's a rubberized front, so it's actually pretty nice to hold on to. I suspect when I pull this sticker off of here, it's going to be rubber back there too, which is going to give us a great place to grip onto. It's a little bit different size than, let's say, the flip camera, which has, I guess it is about the same, but it just seems a little bit lower on this Kodak. So, as opposed to the flip, where sometimes you're so choked up on it that, you know, the controls aren't in the right spot necessarily. This one, it's sort of, you tend to hold it down here where all the rubber is, and it's nice, and the controls are right there. Let's see, we've got a macro feature, which is another thing I thought was pretty nice, especially for doing these YouTube videos. We've got its power switch, which honestly I think is a little nicer than the flip one, only because the flip only has those 3 little dots, and this one's got the little bar, so it's a little easier to deal with this one. And being on the top, I don't think it's going to be an issue, where I think the reason they did this one so low profile is because when you put it in a shirt or something, it's going to go on accidentally. Where this one being on top, that shouldn't happen so much. We've got a button here that flips out its own USB, kind of similar to what the flip had. But if anyone's used a flip before, it's possible to get the flip thing to come out, but this not to lock down, and then it just is a little awkward. Not that that's an issue at all, it's just that I don't think that can happen here technically because there's no door to get in the way. Besides the USB output though, you've got the 2 jacks for the different cables. So pretty cool. In other words, it's not as limited as the flips. The flips, you get this and that's it. With this one, you get that. Oops, that, if that's what you want to use. You get your 2 different types of video out, or you've got your SD card. And it is an SDHC, which means we should be able to use, according to the packaging, up to a 32 gigabyte card. So the time that this can record isn't as important as on these, where you buy these being a half an hour, or 2 hours, and then in regular or high def, and then a standard size and a mid size. With this Kodak, you buy it, and then depending on what size card you put into it is how long it's going to record for. Since it's high def, it's also not high def, so the only thing this is missing is being a small form factor. You know, size wise, I'm just going to compare it to the flip. It's just a hair narrower, definitely bigger tall wise, and a bit bigger in the width. But honestly, because it's so narrow, you know, it's, for me, I've got my droid here inside of a body glove, and that's about the same size. So some of the pouches that I've been using for my droid, obviously this thing is just about exactly the same size as a droid, so we should be in good shape with some of the stuff that we've bought to hold the droid. Unlike the droid though, it does have the screw at the bottom there for putting onto a tripod, but it turns out if we do get one of those things that sort of holds a droid with some fingers so that it'll fit on a tripod, of course that would work with this one as well. So we haven't used it yet. Let's go ahead and turn it on. Seems to load pretty quickly. It's got a great big screen, at least compared, and this isn't a fair comparison because the older flip like this one in my hand doesn't have as large a screen as the HD flip, but I suspect this Kodak might even be a little bit larger than the HD flip. Now we've got them both zoomed out as far as they'll go. Let's go ahead and zoom them in. I'm going to do the flip first, and I went in on the corner of the box there, and now with the Kodak, I can't tell. I guess the Kodak probably went in a little bit further, but again, it's hardly a fair fight. This flip is not an HD, so it's an older model. But just to give you some idea, their wide angle's about the same. On the Kodak one here, you've got your battery indicator, and then some sort of a, probably telling us that there's no memory card stuck in it. And then HD. We've got a little bit more menu options, I suspect, although I haven't looked at the instructions or anything. I'm going to assume that, you know, this is a way to access. Here's some of the videos that people took while at the store, and I'll probably keep those, just, who knows, just because I'm nosy and just to see some you know, different people's abilities on it. Obviously everybody's got their own skill level. So I just wiggled through that with this joystick in the center here, where the flip has just a button in the center and then a movable kind of pad around it. Although again, if you watch our video where we compare the old flip with the new HD flip, this little pad is much bigger on the new flip. This one though is a joystick, which in my opinion is a lot nicer to deal with. There's a click. I don't think you can hear it, but it's definitely, you can feel the click, so you know what you're doing when you're clicking on it. I'm going to go ahead and click that button again, and it looks like it's toggling me between the, you know, preview video screens and then the actual live feed. So this is the live feed again. Alright, so in case it was the fact that there was no card in it, we're going to go ahead and stick an SD card in the side. Pretty easy to insert. Now we'll turn it on. And when we push the button, it starts to record. So much more intuitive than you would think, as long as you've got video cards in, or memory in there for it to record. So there we are recording, and of course we'll do a picture-in-picture or something to show this. And now there's a macro here on the side. So I'm going to go ahead and flip that. And now we've got a little flower there to tell us we're in macro. Bring something up to take a look at. I think that does a pretty darn good job of showing us this battery. Of course, we'll do picture-in-a-picture there. And that's nice that I can do that on the fly. Flip it on and off. Of course, it makes it go blurry when it's close. So I guess I can click the button again. It's going to turn off. If we would click that right button, it would preview that one. I just put the card in, so it's 1 of 1. Just to show the difference there, and again, I'm apples and oranges because I'm showing an old flip, but a flip just doesn't have that kind of range. It just can't do the close-up stuff on its own. Some of the guys have glued lenses on it, and that works out real well, but again, you have to do something to modify it. Where with the Kodak, it's nice, you can just get it out of preview mode. I can just bring it up here, flip the switch, and for these videos and stuff, that should be pretty nice. So I'd say if you are doing videos with a camera, you're looking for a camera to do videos, so far this one looks pretty decent. Of course, it's all about what the quality comes out, so we'll have to, this is our first unboxing it, obviously. We'll take it out and do our regular places that we check them out here in the studio. We'll take a look at it out at the park nearby. We'll take a look at it at night, inside, outside, different places, and we'll get an idea of how this works. But so far, looks like a pretty decent camera. We're not sure what kind of file format it comes out, and that can be an issue if you're using Windows Movie Maker. So I'll check that out. And then the only other thing is the size is a little big. But otherwise, I think this one has a lot going for it. So far, real high reviews so far, a lot of potential.